This time last month, the Auburn Tigers were trying to figure out in basketball whether they were going to even make the tournament. Today, the Auburn Tigers defeated Tennessee 84-64 to seal a SEC Tournament Championship for 2019. Once again, it's Case to the GOAT for Vernon Speaks Sports, mostly talking about Auburn football and the rest of the SEC. I want to give a shout out to my fearless and true gang, War Eagle. Now, the SEC going into the national tournament is going to be very top heavy, with LSU being the regular season SEC champion. You got strong powerhouses like Tennessee and Kentucky, and now Auburn probably going to take a pretty decent seed as well. So the SEC will represent very well in the NCAA tournament this year. Now on to spring football for the Auburn Tigers. It appears that Sean Shivers and Anthony Schwartz will not participate in spring football because those guys play track. They take track very seriously. And Gus Malzahn and his staff knew this upon their recruitment, that they weren't going to play spring ball. But this opens the door for Eli Stove and Will Hastings to get those much needed uninterrupted reps, because the four guys actually play similar roles. So that give Eli Stove and Will Hastings a chance to kind of get back into the loop. Because I don't know if you all remember, Will Hastings, Eli Stove, the loss of Nate Craig Myers, all three elements, you lost a lot of experience at the wide receiver position. And I think it told on Auburn at certain points as to why the chemistry might not have been there the way people thought it should have been there. Now, of course, the offensive line did take the most of the blame for last season. But you got to remember, without those guys, those are key elements. You know, you take away a Nate Craig Myers, a great blocker downfield. You know, and you take away with Eli Stove not being in the game, he's probably one of the best jet sweep runners I've ever seen. Also, too, Eli Stove had pretty good speed and good hands because he was recruited as a wide receiver, and he is still projected to be a wide receiver this year. He did a lot of great things as far as creating mismatches in the intermediate passing routes. So, I mean, definitely a lot of production missing out of Eli Stove. And then you think about Will Hastings, who was the deep threat. So that meant with Will Hastings not being there, Darius Slayton was left to carry the load as the deep threat. Okay, so at times, Darius Slayton either shorted some routes or the ball was overthrown. There was a lot of miscommunication there. Will Hastings being in the game obviously would have kept a lot of pressure off of him in that regard. So having all those guys back, you solidify your depth at the wide receiver position, and Auburn will probably look to the transfer portal maybe for another wide receiver as well. There's been a lot of buzz concerning that. So Auburn looks forward to the first day of spring practice tomorrow. Stay tuned to Vernon Speaks Sports for the latest happenings with spring practice, as well as more content, because we keep it coming damn near every day. Once again, it's Case to the GOAT. Like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. War Eagle.